It all began on New Year's Day. On my 32nd year of being single, we should all try to have a Bridget Jones state of mind. A Bridget Jones state of mind. A Bridget Jones state of mind. I'm John Renton with the retro review of Bridget Jones's Diary from 2001. I was 20 years old when this movie came out. I cleaned up after patrons when this movie was in theaters because I worked at a movie theater for nearly 6 goddamn years. Great times. Also, people are fucking sloppy. Enough about sloppy people. Let's talk about the sloppy people in this movie. It was directed by Sharon Maguire, who did Bridget Jones 3, and yeah, they're doing a 4th one, apparently. I have not seen one fucking trailer for it, but apparently it's coming out in about 2 weeks as of this recording, so I decided, let me revisit the 3 movies. I actually forgot they did a 3rd one. I've seen the first 2. I think I've seen clips of the 3rd one, but nevertheless, we're talking about the first movie. By we, I mean me, and you can comment, let me know your thoughts. I liked this movie initially, but I have not seen it in close to 15 years. It has been quite a while. So, it is based on a novel by Helen Fielding and was written by a couple people. Richard Curtis, who did Love Actually. And you know, if you see this and you see Love Actually, there's a lot of similarities, not just with the casting, but also with the writing and the endearment and the awkwardness. And yes, this movie is still endearing. Shockingly endearing, despite the fact that Renee Zellweger has kind of annoyed me for a number of years. I don't think she's necessarily a bad person. Actually, I've heard she's a nice person. Just something about her recent string of movies has really bothered me. Actually, about the time I started getting annoyed with her was Cold Mountain. But then again, Cold Mountain was really starting to piss me off just because it wasted the talents of, well, the cast. And that's about how much I remember of Cold Mountain. Also, Andrew Davies wrote the Three Musketeers movie in 2011. Who remembers that movie? So if you're unfamiliar with Bridget Jones's Diary, it is based on that book, as I mentioned, and involves Bridget Jones in a movie called Bridget Jones' Diary. Well, at least the title is accurate. Renee Zellweger is basically tired of being single. She smokes like a chimney. She drinks a lot. She's foul-mouthed, says whatever's on her mind, and ends up basically just chronicling her life throughout a year. Talks about the men, the family members, the various people that she interacts with. We see these interactions with a narration by Renee Zellweger with a British accent that is mostly good, mostly. And in all honesty, the movie actually utilizes its characters well, has a nice breezy pace to it, isn't the most wholly original concept as far as a rom-com, but given when it came out, given the fact that many of its themes are still relevant, and a lot of it still holds up to this very day, really outside of the technology, I would argue that this movie pretty much holds up beautifully. You do have Bridget's mom, played by Gemma Jones, who I forgot was in this movie. You also have Jim Broadbent, who's a great character actor. I forgot he was in Moulin Rouge. That also came out in 2001. You have James Faulkner. You have Celia Emive, I think is how you say it. And a lot of actual familiar British character actors, including Colin Firth and Hugh Grant. Colin Firth when he was on his ascent, as well as Hugh Grant after the various movies that he's done. Notting Hill, I believe, came out 2 years before. That's something I'll retro-review at some point when I have time, which I never will have, but I'll just make time anyway. But yeah, it's basically Bridget Jones, chronicles her life. And from there, if you've not seen Bridget Jones' Diary, it's a retro review. The movie is almost 24 years old, and I'm going to get into spoilers. Right after I talk about the fact that this actually was a smash fucking hit. $25 million budget, $44.3 million today, $10.7 million opening. That would be $19 million in today's money. $71.5 million U.S. gross. That would be $126.7 million in today's money. And $334.2 million. That would be just over $590 million in today's money. And I can tell you, in regards to the sequel, Bridget Jones, The Edge of Reason, didn't do as well. But I'll get to that when that review posts. So, yeah, she chronicles all this stuff in her diary. I mean, honestly, in a movie called Bridget Jones's Diary, how dare you shock us with such a fact? So yeah, we get the opening narration. We see how her parents have drifted apart. Her mom, Pamela, Gemma Jones, basically ends up shagging another guy while getting a job at the Home Shopping Network. Some nice, goofy sexual gags and everything. The overlying deal here is that she does end up fancying her boss, Hugh Grant. Yes, handsome man, no doubt. Somebody that anybody would go for. Stark contrast in this role in Heretic. He was terrific. If you have not seen Heretic, fucking check it out. It's fucking terrific. But he's Daniel Cleaver, and he, him and her end up hooking up. But before that, we do see her interact with Mark, who's in a terrible reindeer jumper. That's apparently what they call sweaters over there. There's quite a bit of British slang in this. I don't quite get it. Didn't annoy me nearly as much as Attack the Block, which made no sense to me. I probably should rewatch that at some point. Yeah, there's a creepy uncle also that she has. It's not really her uncle, but, well, we've all been there, haven't we, guys? Guys? So, loud British slang and insults. Hooray! I do like how the Brits can always be good with snark. All by myself, don't want to be all by myself, don't want to drink all by myself. Obviously, after her and Mark had interactions as children, just like gag where apparently, we see some home videos at the end of the movie and everything. But just, we see that they, there's obviously a chemistry, and obviously with these two, they're going to end up hooking up, but we got a journey to get there. She decides to better herself, decides to not fall for a guy that fits, all the stuff that she doesn't want, which basically is what Hugh Grant is. This early 2000s tech is what I noted. Tom is her gay friend who had like one hit, song, and now, has basically been living off the residuals and reputation and whatever. It's like Robbie Williams. By the way, check out Better Man, because nobody else really did in theaters, but I enjoyed the fuck out of it. So, also there's a guy named Fitz Herbert that she keeps calling Tits Pervert because he keeps staring at her tits. What little there was. I'm sorry. That's mean. I don't know why I said that. But basically her and Daniel end up messaging back and forth. I did like the good humor and social commentary about the lengths and the stuff that women go through to make themselves presentable. And I say presentable because that's one thing about this movie I think that's like relevant even today. Women should be able to wear what they want, do what they want. The right person's going to love them. I mean, that's just really what it comes down to. I mean, it extends to men and LGBTQ people, anybody, animal, vegetable, mineral, doesn't fucking matter. Somebody's going to love you the way you deserve to be loved. Renee is endearing enough, has, good dialogue, is willing to let herself be the butt of jokes. And then Daniel basically plays up a story about what Mark did. Mark ended up taking Daniel's wife at a Christmas party or, right around the holidays and stuff like that. If you can't guess where this is going, by the way, if you haven't seen the movie, then I really don't know what to tell you. But he basically gets her in bed. They have a whirlwind romance. And things are going well. But she keeps running into Mark. And Mark has somebody else with him. A business partner who, in all seriousness, like, attractive woman, I'll say that much, but obviously there's too many sparks between Bridget and Mark, and there's the funny gag about her dressing up like, dressing up at a costume party, like as a Playboy bunny, so to speak, and nobody else got the memo from the wedding except like one aunt that dressed like a tart, as it were, because I believe that's a slang they use over there. Tart's a funny word. It really is. So, Pamela ends up, basically kind of, Gemma Jones ends up basically finding attention she wasn't getting from Jim Broadbent, and goes out to do what she does. Bridget is depressed because Hugh is sleeping with somebody else. Laura, that woman, my, oh my, me, oh my, down on the bayou. But then again, like, they were never really an item, but then again, you really need to, you need to be honest with people, but then again, that's Hugh Grant's character, there we are. And we get Shaka Khan, I'm Every Woman, and then Whitney Houston sung that, and then Whitney Houston tried to singing in the bathtub at the wrong time. What the hell is wrong with me? I don't know. She decides she's had enough of Daniel shit, goes on a job search, gets a job doing newscasting. Richard is a bit of a sexist boss, shall we say. Guy plays the character pretty well. And she becomes the butt of jokes, basically, where this camera shoots her sliding down a fireman's pole. That's not what this looks like. And, of course, her ass is, like, you know, hanging out like a freaking short skirt. But Mark basically, a little bit later at this party where she's, like, had it, Bridget's had it, you know, Daniel left her, and Mark, you know, and her keep having these awkward exchanges. He says, I like you just so, it's like very much just the way you are. Come on, movie. Come on. How dare you try to get to my black heart? So, and then we have, you know, we have Mark Darcy. Get it? He played Darcy in Pride and Prejudice. So goddamn on the nose. But nevertheless, there's this part where Mark is doing his lawyer work for like this one guy that was nearly extradited back to his own country. That was totally forgotten about, but it helps him and Bridget bond. There's this dinner date for friends, a gathering, whatever the hell word I'm searching for. That's not going all that well because her cooking isn't working, but they try to make as much as they can. But Tom ends up saying to Bridget, who can't cook, but we love her just the way she is. And more of that stuff. Daniel shows back up, tries to win her back, and then him and Colin Firth get in a fight, which is kind of funny because it's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men is playing, so nice little scene there. And she kind of tells Mark off, and then tells Daniel off, and is like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not doing any of this stuff. Christmas comes up. She's spending time with her dad. Mother shows back up. The mother's like, I shouldn't have done what I did, but you never give me attention, this kind of stuff. You should give your wife, your loved one, attention, but still doesn't excuse what she did. It's fine, though. I say this to somebody that's been on both sides. Both sides of the thing. That has been the one, you know, cheating and been the one cheated on. In what order? I'll let you figure out. So, the mother basically ends up telling Bridget rather about Mark, that, oh, actually it was the other way. Daniel was the one that slept with Mark's wife and stole her and stuff like that. So she tries to go and win Mark back. Basically, is it too late? It could be. He's going to go off to America with his business partner. But then a little bit later, the friends are like, hey, you know, Mark didn't treat you right, didn't kiss you, all that stuff. Let's just go to Paris. They'll always have Paris, apparently. And then Mark shows back up and, yep, seems like things are going good. They're going to go upstairs. And, oh, then we get one more curveball. He sees the diary. All the stuff that she's written. Appreciating things and also knocking Mark and stuff like that. And then she's freaking out because Mark left when she was trying to pick out the perfect pair of pants or underwear or whatever the fuck it is they call it over there. But then she goes in a top and in a pair of panties and barely an overcoat in snow, but fortunately, since it actually wasn't real snow, it wasn't going to be cold. She's looking for Mark. She finds him and is apologizing to him, all that stuff. It's a diary, it's just crap. I know, that's why I was buying you another one, so we can have a fresh start. Again, how fucking dare you, Bridget Jones' Diary? How dare you still be endearing after all these years? And we get them kissing, everything's going good, and then we see the home videos, and then Shelby Lynn's The Killing Kind plays, and that's the one song of Shelby Lynn's I can remember. I heard that song so much when I cleaned this movie. I actually could recite the goddamn song from memory. I actually got to the point where I was sick of it. It's a great song now, because I haven't worked at the theater for a while, but it gives me warm and nauseating nostalgia. Because the movie theater, I met a lot of really cool people, but my God, that place was run like a goddamn... It wasn't run well. Because we had a boss who was a piece of shit. If you're watching this, you know who the fuck you are. Great underling manager, so to speak. Nevertheless, that's another story for another day if I feel like telling it. But That being said, Bridget Jones' Diary, still endearing, still hilarious, still moving, still funny, and there we go. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.